What happens when one of Disney's most iconic princesses becomes the center of a firestorm no one saw coming? Snow White was supposed to be a magical, heartwarming return to the fairy tale we all grew up loving, but instead, it turned into one of the most controversial projects in Disney history. From casting choices that sparked global debates to a staggering box office flop that left fans and critics divided, this story has it all. But was Rachel Zegler's version of Snow White a bold step forward or a mistake Disney couldn't recover from? Disney has not canceled its highly anticipated live-action Snow White remake, starring Rachel Zegler, as of April 2025. But since its very first announcements, the movie has been beset by controversy. Instead of serving as a new recreation of one of Disney's most cherished masterpieces, it became a focal point for political tensions, fan anger, and cultural discussions. These problems have had such a profound effect that they have altered the studio's marketing approach, hurt its box office prospects, and even had a long-lasting effect on Rachel Zegler's budding career. This is the in-depth account of Rachel Zegler's emotional reaction to Snow White's tumultuous trip. The issues started even before the cameras were rolling. A contentious online response was quickly generated when Disney revealed that Rachel Zegler, an American actress of Colombian heritage, would play Snow White. The decision was hailed by some critics as a positive step toward broadening Disney's princess roster. Others, particularly traditionalists, charged that the studio was sacrificing authenticity in the name of wokeness. Some claim that Snow White's skin as white as snow, a description found in traditional fairy tales, was essential to the character's identity. It wasn't only racial backlash. The evil queen was portrayed by Israeli actress Gal Gadot, best known for her portrayal of Wonder Woman. Pro-Palestinian activists harshly criticized Gadot's casting because of the rising tensions between Israel and Palestine in the 2020s. They contended that she was an unsuitable option for such a prominent Disney villain because of her vocal support for the Israeli military. Things became significantly more problematic as a result of Disney's decision to recreate the Seven Dwarfs. The original Snow White story was criticized by Peter Dinklage, an actor with achondroplasia, for being backward because it depicted dwarves living in caves. In response to Dinklage's criticism, Disney cast a diverse cast of actors, including actors of different heights, genders, and ethnicities, to play magical creatures rather than traditional dwarves. Paradoxically, this decision resulted in even more debate, which infuriated both the initial fans and members of the dwarfism community who felt that their opportunity to be represented had been denied. Over the course of this time, the production budget climbed to more over $270 million, which is an astounding amount even when measured against Disney's current standards. The Writers Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild strikes that occurred simultaneously in 2023 and 2024 significantly impeded development, delaying the completion of the picture and increasing its total cost by tens of millions of dollars. All of these strikes occurred simultaneously. Rachel Zegler was the one who unintentionally added fuel to the fire. In a number of interviews, Zegler mentioned the possibility of modernizing Snow White. He referred to the 1937 version as dated and stated that Snow White will find her own agency and leadership rather than being saved by a prince. Despite the fact that this tactic benefited Disney's efforts to update its princess tales, many of the company's most loyal followers believed that the company was making an effort to undermine its own heritage. It was difficult for Disney to maintain control of the perfect storm that was created as a result of the accumulation of these controversies. Rachel Zegler attempted to explain the film's revised message and her casting choices in the face of an overwhelming amount of hate speech online. In talks with publications such as The Independent and Us Weekly, Zegler stated, "To be honest, I was disappointed that it was interpreted that way because I think women are capable of anything. Snow White no longer merely fantasizes about true love. She aspires to be the leader she knows she is capable of being." She spoke in a forceful but frequently emotive tone. She underlined that the new Snow White would embody the ideals of freedom and self-determination, showcasing a heroine who actively directs her own course rather than passively waiting for help. The online insults persisted in spite of her best efforts and frequently took on a very personal tone. Zegler responded by sharing pictures of herself as a child dressed as several Disney princesses, such as Cinderella and Belle. She wrote with the images, "I hope every child understands that they can always be a princess." Her sincere message was meant to serve as a reminder that storytelling and imagination should be accessible to all people, not just those who fit into antiquated stereotypes. She received a lot of support from admirers and celebrities who praised her bravery. However, Snow White's encircling storm never completely calmed down. down. Disney took extreme action because of the possibility of a negative reception. The company reportedly postponed Snow White's eagerly awaited London premiere, according to allegations from publications including The Guardian and Page 6. The movie was marketed through a limited number of strictly regulated media events rather than the customary international press tour. Only specific sources were permitted to engage with the cast, and interviews were pre-screened. Disney aimed to steer clear of spontaneous scenes that would contribute to the notion of reaction. Times News Global was informed by an insider. There was genuine concern about a backlash against woke people. Instead of risking more criticism, they felt it was better to let the movie speak for itself. Disney also closely monitored online information about the movie, eliminating any unfavorable remarks from sites like YouTube and Instagram. In sharp contrast to the opulent, joyous rollouts Disney usually saves for its tentpole films, this strategy was cautious, protective, and even hidden. Disney made an effort to limit the harm, but the box office results were depressing. Despite spending more than $270 million on production and marketing, Snow White only made $145 million globally when it was released on March 21, 2025. It was one of Disney's worst financial failures since The Marvels, 2023, and Strange World, 2022. The consequences were immediate and terrible. After the earnings announcement, studio insiders started questioning Disney's commitment to live-action remakes, and the company's stock fell a little. The repercussions went beyond Snow White. According to The Sun, a potential live-action Tangled movie that starred Florence Pugh as Rapunzel was put on indefinite hold. Executives were concerned that the public's apathy for reinterpreted classics, particularly those enmeshed in controversy, was just too great to overlook. Disney is still working on other films, such as Moana and Lilo and Stitch, in the hopes that less contentious tales may do better. Even though Zegler had a difficult time with Snow White, her journey is far from over. She was chosen to play Eva Peron in the upcoming production of Evita on London's esteemed West End, which was directed by the celebrated Jamie Lloyd, marking a significant turning point in her career. The London Palladium will host the concert on June 14, 2025, and Zegler's appearance is already creating excitement. Elaine Paige and Patti LuPone made the classic part of Eva Peron famous, and it requires a great deal of vocal skill and emotional depth. According to insiders, Zegler will be a perfect fit for the part because of her powerful singing and her recently developed political consciousness. Critics have even conjectured that her portrayal of Eva would change her public persona, turning her from a divisive figure linked to controversy to a well-respected stage actress who has won praise from critics. Disney hasn't canceled Snow White as of yet. However, the process of making the movie has not been simple. Snow White became a symbol of the challenges of modernizing classic legends in a very divided society, ranging from racial politics and international conflicts to budget overruns and public relations catastrophes. In the middle of it all, Rachel Zegler handled the storm with dignity, openness, and fortitude. Despite the film's poor performance and Disney's reassessment of its live-action approach, Zegler's career is still booming. She will surely continue to battle for a place where all kinds of princesses and storytellers belong, as her West End premiere signifies the start of a new chapter in her life. Snow White is more than just a film. The expense of reinventing fairy tales for a new generation is at the center, along with culture and change. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into the biggest stories in movies and entertainment, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you even more behind-the-scenes stories.